And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
Well, like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Wilson Richter, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes.
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
How
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile. Smile going on some shoes, but you know.
Wait, hold up.
You got.
I gotta
when
try
it's
this.
time,
with
when,
you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something funny
All
and start
do,
laughing.
do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
Just a sexy eye right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Each words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. It is Wednesday night, it is hump night, so hopefully you guys are enjoying your humping festivities. I don't know what you guys do when you're humping. I don't need to know that information. All I need to know is that it's consensual. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's consensual. Make sure it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful one out there. I know a lot of people are starting to file in, that kind of thing. We started a little late today. Why? Because I was looking up as many things as I could to talk about today or for this evening's show. There's a couple old things, there's a couple new things, there's a couple everything. So we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, especially some new breaking news. As you see down below underneath this feed, there are some things like Facebook is getting sued. We're going to be talking about that here very soon. Hunter Biden is under investigation on his taxes, and we got a slew of other crazy stories and some celebrity stuff to this very interesting thing that happened in Hungary. So we got a lot of things that we got to talk about. Yeah, we're going to talk about those things. But before we go into it, my brother T is in the house. What a guam, bruh.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, man, we missed you this morning. How you doing, man? What's good?
I'm doing really well. Just taking it one day at a time, you know? Got a few days left of this crazy year, so just trying to ride it out.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that, man. I definitely feel you on that. I mean, 2020 has been a weird one, man. 2020 has been a weird one, and this year, it's even though we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year is here. We're slowly getting in there, and for some weird reason, things are just getting weirder and weirder and weirder as we get closer to the end of the year. I just hope nothing crazy happens, like meteors start hitting the asteroids start destroying the planet or something crazy like that. That's the only thing. Real talk. That's the only thing I'm trying to avoid happening is not dying. How's that? And bringing some normalcy back into my life. And maybe 2021 will be that thing. You know what I mean? Maybe not. I think things are going to get even weirder in 2021. I personally think. What do you think, man?
Every week has been weird. Not every day, but every week for sure. There's been some groundbreaking. You got to be kidding me! Is this a movie?
Right.
Is it? Is this a Twilight Zone?
Word.
Because it's definitely always been. Some kind of in the past, some kind of calm that lets everybody sit back and relax. But this year, we haven't had a break from being emotionally connected.
Not once. And yeah,
it's politics. Health, the economy, education, international stuff. I mean, all over the globe has been some kind of groundbreaking news, and we're like, what? It's really been a trying year. If we have not found some actual peace with ourselves this year, that next year we have to find it. Because this is the year where you have to do some soul searching just to leave your house.
Yeah, that's very true. it's very true. That one thing that I would love to see happen here very, very soon is I think whenever they make the final decisions on the elections and whatnot, and we're going to talk about there's a couple things that are kind of circulating around the elections and everything, and things with YouTube and everything, and we're going to talk about that too, because I see M. Miller saying that on the chat already, so we will talk about that here very shortly. But I truly feel in my heart of hearts that whoever ends up becoming president here in January should say the entire country gets a week off. No drama, no BS, no mainstream media, no nothing, not a damn thing. We all get to drink pina coladas in our crib, eat donuts, whatever's your bliss, for a week. Literally a vacation from all the BS, because we have had one hell of a year. It's been a terrible, terrible year. I think we can all agree on that. And I think 2021 should start off with a tiny bit of a break. Just a tiny break. Just a minuscule.
How about this? Let's change up from 5 days on and 2 days off. Let's do 4 hours. Let's do 4 days a week, 10 hours, and have 3 days for the weekend going forward.
Ooh,
that'd be good relief.
That'd be interesting. You're trying to bring like block schedules? You're trying to bring block schedule. This dude, an educator.
I better have an extra day in the weekend. You know what I'm saying?
This dude, an educator, he's trying to bring block scheduling into life, into general life. That makes sense.
It may work.
It may work. It may work out, bruh. That may work out. What were you gonna say?
It may work out. You never know.
Yeah. Actually, it's not a bad idea. It is not a bad. That's not a bad idea. Real talk. Not a bad idea. But let's jump into some of the news, some stories and everything. We got to talk about our stories and everything. So one of the things that I saw, I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up this chat. One of the things that I saw in the conversation in the very beginning, M. Miller just said it. YouTube is starting to censor a lot too. Okay, so here it is. Before we go into Facebook and all that, allegedly, starting soon, any creator that is out there, that does anything that is talking about Trump losing the election due to voter fraud, apparently those things will be immediately taken down from YouTube. So obviously this page doesn't do that. We talk about, okay, allegedly this stuff is going on. Let's talk about those things, so on and so forth. I'm not that person who's sitting there going, oh yeah, stop the steal or anything of that sort. I am not. But places like Brandon Tatum, Anthony Brian Logan, Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, and the list goes on and on and on. Maybe Ben Shapiro. I don't think Ben Shapiro is it has ever thought that. I think he thinks that the election is the decision was made about Biden a long time ago, and therefore it is. And I think Ben Shapiro's like, just stop, Trump, stop. So he won't get flagged, but there's a lot of, apparently from this point on, I don't know if it has anything to do with old videos, but a lot of new videos are going to get flagged immediately if they have that kind of rhetoric going on in the videos. I find that very interesting. I find that extremely interesting. Because I'm seeing like other pages that I watch from time to time, like The Quartering, and so on and so forth, covering this conversation about the change of policy. And they're sitting there saying, well, if you don't have a mainstream view, or if you don't have a mainstream channel and your channel isn't conservative, then you're in the clear. But if you have a conservative, not mainstream channel, then you're in a lot of trouble. And I see their point. They should be able to speak however they want to speak. But at the same time, though, if they're spitting out rhetoric that is not backed with concrete evidence, then they're giving out wrong information. They're misleading their own people. They're misleading their own listeners to information that's not entirely true. So I can see why YouTube would want to flag them or not want to take, not want to leave that type of content up. You know what I'm saying? T, what do you think?
Wow. So the Washington Post today said that YouTube removed 8,000 channels. They're promoting false election claims.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah. So you got
that's a lot of channels in one day. I'm pretty sure they have hefty followers as well.
Yeah. So you got a lot of channels like Crowder, Tim Pool, Brandon Tatum, Anthony Brian Logan, maybe Amazing Lucas. I mean, you name it. You name it. They're all getting in trouble, or they're all up on the chopping block. The quartering, I think even the quartering. You know what I'm saying? These are all fairly popular channels that are going to be up on the chopping block and could possibly get destroyed because of them putting out this specific, pushing that agenda, pushing that rhetoric. Is it fair? I leave it up to you guys. To me, I personally think on this, on some real stuff, y'all. If they're giving out factual evidence, giving out things that could spark a lot of questions, that do prove without a reasonable doubt that there was voter fraud going on, then I can understand that. But if you are literally putting out footage or putting out stuff just so, because there's a lot of people out here that say that they're just doing stuff for clickbait, or they're doing stuff just to secure their own conservative money bags. So, and also just to have something to talk about, like they would say Crowder will sit here all day long saying, oh, stop the steal. And he'll sit there and talk all day long and say all this crazy stuff that isn't true. But he's not having anything to back it up with. He's just saying stuff that he's hearing on whatever, sites and whatever pages and whatever, blogs that he listens to and watches and reads. He's just spitting it out on his page because he knows that's what that demographic that he serves to wants to hear. Instead of actually saying, hey, here's the facts, here's what's going on. So I can understand YouTube maybe cracking down on it, but I couldn't see them taking down 8,000 channels. It seems a little extreme in my personal opinion. T, what do you think?
This is going to cause a huge divide.
Absolutely.
Well, a larger divide than it already is. This is the year of division. We're seeing that, from the top down. Mm-hmm. So it seems like corporations with that much power, as a YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is owned by Alphabet. I wonder would this affect any kind of their stock, going forward. If they're removing some of a large majority of their YouTube channels, you have to calculate the viewership that they're going to lose from those channels. You have to calculate the ads, the money that comes in. So, it seems like politics here are going to trump the revenue that's coming in this case. And I know a few years ago, YouTube made huge changes for policy in regards to what you can show as far as like firearms and safety. And that was a big red flag for a lot of channels then. Now it's about politics and their freedom of speech. And that's a biggie. That's part of the constitutional rights. So I'm pretty sure they're going to try to fight this back, those channels, if they can. Mm-hmm. If they didn't sign any kind of clause, and they feel like they're being wronged, then I'm pretty sure we'll see some lawsuits coming up in the future. Or maybe another streaming website may become popular enough to not rival, but to at least sustain some of that new viewership somewhere else. So we'll see going forward. I mean, it's definitely it's scary because if they get away with this now, imagine next year and going forward, like they can choose to censor anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to affect everybody else eventually. So even if you're not in agreement with the right and the election fraud, when it comes to us, you know, on the left or us in the center, it's going to come our way as well, for sure. So I think all of us have to advocate for freedom of speech as long as it's not harmful to somebody else. You know, if it's not a harmful, you know, hateful speech, then we should be able to speak our truths, you know, via social media, you know, via whatever platform we feel we can, you know, so.
Yeah, you know, the only opposing question I have on that is when you say speak their truths, what if that truth is not factual? See what I'm saying? Like, in my heart of hearts, I think that we should all be able to have, like, ice cream sundaes every single day, all day long. I think that we should be able to eat chocolate chip cookies, and even the people who are lactose intolerant, you know, raise your hand if you're lactose intolerant. I think that you should be able to, you know, have a glass of milk, you know what I mean, and go boo-boo wherever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's my, I mean, that, you know, obviously I'm saying that as funny, but as a joke, but that's not factual though. You just what I'm saying? That's only what I feel, you know, and I understand about freedom of speech, but if you're saying something that you want to have happen and you're going, I want a unicorn to be president of the United States, that's one thing. But that would be very interesting. Just nothing but sparkles. But at the same time, it's not factual. You know what I mean? It's not a factual thing. So when you got people out here, literally you got people out here in the streets, out in these streets right now, protesting on behalf of Trump, on behalf of MAGA, that are sitting here going, you know what I mean, that are going stop the steal and all that. You're feeding to that thing, like, unless there's like, you know, like apparently like me and Zozo Bob, you know, we want unicorns, you know, we want that unicorn for president. So Key and I might be standing out in the cold, you know, holding a rainbow flag with a unicorn on it saying, hey, unicorn for president. But at the same time, that's not speaking to a large majority of hopefuls. There are so many hopeful people out there that are still clutching their Trump flag, clutching ever so tightly to their MAGA hat, you know what I mean, and their MAGA swag, hoping for a miracle to happen. And these people are out here getting in front of their microphones and going, this can happen. A miracle can really happen, y'all. They stole this election. See what I'm saying? It's like they're poking the bear, they're stoking the flames. I understand about freedom of speech, and I'm with that. I'm with that, T. But there's also the other part of me that's going, okay, there's something about having freedom of speech and then just going on and throwing more logs into a flame that doesn't need to be reignited. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if this is allowed to happen, it's going to trickle itself down to everybody else eventually. And that's my point with that. I just feel like...
Good point.
Although we have different points of views based off, you know, politics or religion or race or whatever on this platform, if we allow YouTube and Google to censor a certain section of YouTube channels, then they can use that power to continue to do it for everybody else. And then we always have filters for everything, if it doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah.
For that year. So it's tricky. It's tricky.
You know. Yeah.
It's almost like a worse enemy is out there, and although you're somebody that you were kind of not cool with, you kind of made them your ally temporarily.
Right.
So now we have allies who we don't have a good friendship, but we have a common cause, which is a greater evil out there.
Yeah.
So we have to find allies within the YouTube channels, you know, for this cause, for this singular cause now, just to not be, you know, ran over, or, you know, we're both facing tyranny pretty much. So we're trying to hold on together for a platform, although we not always agree. But for this cause here, we're arm in arm.
Right. And I see what you're saying. I totally see what you're saying. You're making it's a very strong point. You don't want to open up, you don't want to open up Pandora's box, for sure. Because that's the other thing. Because if they strip people of this, who says what they can't strip us from? You know, then it will be them going, well, we don't like Pascal's show because he's talking about eating Sundays every single day and going boo-boo everywhere, and a unicorn for president. Okay, this show and this whole entire channel is completely banned. So of course I understand that it can start from going from that to something extreme, you know, to the point where everybody turns into an Alex Jones. Literally everybody is an enemy of YouTube, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely see that point, for sure. I guess in a way it's like, I wish for some of these conservative channels, I'm not sitting here saying that for them to not speak their truths, but I wish that they would balance it out just a little bit, so that they can sit there and say, okay, you know, we are saying that the voter fraud is happening and this is why it's been stolen and so on and so forth. But let's see the other side really quick. Let's see these other results. Let's see what they're saying over here. You know, let's talk about this other side. Let's talk about the possibility of Biden winning. You see what I'm saying? But that's not really happening. They're chanting and screaming, "Stop the steal," all day long, and, you know, doing really crappy skits, you know, like Crowder, and that's it. You know what I mean? But had to get that off my chest, or, you know, talk about that, because I know that's something that is a very big deal. There's a lot of pages, not mine, but there's a lot of channels that are very concerned about this. I mean, obviously, I have not said, oh, this has happened because of such and such. I've just basically said, hey, we don't know the truth yet until we actually find out what's going on, and until we actually get a full result. Biden has won unless something else changes. And that's it. Because I would hate to be like, see, that's the reason, like, real talk, y'all, real talk. That's the reason why you did not see me in the streets dancing and having a grand old time, getting ish-faced with my fellow man. Because there was no official thing. And he knew for a fact that Trump was going to run this as much as he could. You know what I'm saying? He still is. He's still trying to make something happen out of this situation. He's doing everything he can. He's having his last ditch effort right now to make a miracle happen. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. But he sure is trying. Anyway, we got to move on to the next subject, because this is another conversation. This is interesting, too. This is big news. Big news for Facebook. Actually, unfortunate news for Facebook. Well, it looks like 46 states, including the Federal Trade Commissions, have filed a much anticipated lawsuit against Facebook today. So the lawsuit, it has accused the social network of abusing its online dominance by gobbling up competitive threats in a way that entrenches the platform so deeply into the lives of billions of people that rivals can no longer keep up with the fight. So for nearly a decade, Facebook has used its dominance and monopoly power to crush smaller rivals and snuff out competition, all at the expense of everyday users, says New York Attorney General Letitia James. Today, we are taking action to stand up for the millions of consumers and many small businesses that have been harmed by Facebook's illegal behavior. So basically, Facebook's been one big ass bully and just basically saying, hey, I see you over there. I see you over there. You know what I mean? But you ain't going to be able to shake that ass over here. I'm sorry. Nom, nom, nom. And they just destroy them every single time. Anytime that there is a possible social media platform or app that seems to be created, they come in and they annihilate it. All right. The suits take particular aim at Facebook's blockbuster accusations of photo sharing of the photo sharing app Instagram and messaging app WhatsApp, posing a historic threat to Facebook's grip on two hugely popular properties, which the social network controls. So the Attorney General alleges that Facebook's accusations of Instagram and WhatsApp were done illegally and are asking for federal court to intervene by possibly forcing a spin-off of those apps. The lawsuit also asked the court to immediately prevent Facebook from making any accusations worth more than worth more than $10 million as the case pens. So they can't even make any other deals with anything else. If there's a new app that comes out whilst they're in the middle of this whole case, they can't make any offers to anybody, but they are being accused of how they did business with the WhatsApp app and the Instagram app, because Instagram and WhatsApp are completely controlled are completely owned by Facebook now. But remember, there was a time, there was a time when Instagram was its own thing. It was its own independent app. Then they swooped in and took over that bee, man. Real talk. It was also because they were trying to do the same damn thing. They were trying to create an app of their own, just like Instagram. They were trying to create an app just like Snapchat and Instagram combined. That didn't work out so much. So next thing you know, they go, hey, Instagram, you're already here. Shoot. Bap, here's some money. Let me own it. And that's exactly what happened. Same thing with WhatsApp. Crazy that's a thing. But this is modern day monopoly at its finest. T, what do you think?
You just said it. Facebook, Zuckerberg is playing Monopoly with real cash. And he's seen competition. He said, if I can't beat them, I'm going to buy them. And that's what he did. He bought them out. I remember WhatsApp has been around probably for like 5 years or so. And it was just a good way to talk internationally, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like a rival to Skype, pretty much, and they were doing good numbers. And all of a sudden you start seeing a update owned by Facebook on about. I'm like, oh, wow. So,
Word.
They Instagram, same thing. Instagram had a feature that they didn't have on Facebook. So, and they couldn't figure it out. So they just said, what, I'm just going to pay for it. It's mine. So it's one of those things where you have that kind of money, it's all yours to consume. But with monopolies, you have to have some kind of fair business rival. So, it's a 48 state antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah.
That's major, and they must have did some things that they shouldn't have done. And we'll see if Facebook can withstand this in the long run. But they're a corporate giant. I mean, they are. And,
absolutely.
Going public a few years ago, I mean, their stock rose so much. So it's going to be hard. They have enough money to buy the best lawyers possible.
That is true.
So we'll see.
I mean, they're freaking unstoppable. They're Facebook. You know what I'm saying? At one time, there was, remember that thing called MySpace? You know what I'm saying? Remember Friendster up in this piece? Remember that stuff? There used to be those things. Those things do not exist anymore because Facebook came in and just devoured. But at the same time, I'll say this too. It's not very often that you see me using Facebook anymore. I don't use Facebook like I used to. I use Instagram like a mug, but I don't use Facebook. I don't use Facebook at all. Like barely, except
for college students.
You know what I mean? It's like college students. Go ahead.
In 2004, I was in undergrad. It was launched then. That was strictly for like kids on college to communicate with each other.
Right.
You know, and it was restricted. Like you needed a college email address.
Yeah.
Back then, and then over the years, it became more popular, and status updates was like the new thing. You know, and then someone's poking you. It was the new thing, and they kept growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
You know, so you know it's definitely a giant now. Currently, the funny thing is all of us have shifted off from Facebook into Instagram, and like our mothers and grandmothers are on Facebook now.
Still on Facebook, yeah. Still on Facebook, and they're still trying to figure out how to put up a status update. You know what I'm saying? And it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like, Ma, says status right there. You know what I mean? It's like just push the button there. Jeez, it says post. Just push post. But you know, it's interesting that it is the only living platform out there right now. There really isn't another. You know, MySpace ain't around, Friendster ain't around. I mean, there were other platforms that used to exist and they don't exist anymore because Facebook ate them up. You know what I'm saying? It's like McDonald's and going around and eating up Wendy's, Arby's, freaking Burger King. You know what I'm saying? Just eating them up. You know, just taking over everything. You know, they're not giving any room for anybody to do anything else, and that's not right. That's totally not right. You know, so it was eventually going to happen. It was eventually going to happen that they were going to get caught doing something. You know, I think that the attorney generals, or at least New York's attorney general, maybe has had her eye on Facebook since 2016, since the 2016 elections, and they just want to get them for something. You know what I mean? So interesting. That's a very interesting story. It's a very, very interesting story. But we got to move on to the next thing, man. So here's another one. It's breaking. This is breaking news. Bruh. Hunter Biden is under investigation by the FBI for his taxes. Yeah. T's got the story. What's up, man?
So supposedly, Hunter Biden just learned yesterday that he's under a scrutiny of investigations stemming from his Chinese business dealings and other financial transactions. The investigation actually started in 2018, but as of lately, the probe has increased. Biden made a statement. I think this matter is very serious, but I'm confident that I'm professional, and my objective review of these matters will demonstrate that I handle my affairs legally and appropriately, including with the benefit of professional tax advisors. And he also mentioned, saying why now? Because my dad is, almost president, Mm-hmm. So he's questioning why now. And he was saying, why would I take bribes at this time? My dad is the next president of the USA. So it's not very smart. So
I think it is a very interesting series of events. I ain't going to lie. They were investigating him before. And then all of a sudden, everything stopped. It disappeared during the elections. And then it seemed like everything was a done deal. It was a done deal. It was a done deal. Then all of a sudden, now that I guess the results are starting to lean back towards the fact that Biden has won, and we need to keeps it moving. They're trying to do this now. I just think it's very interesting, and maybe Trump has something to do with this, because he's going, okay, well, if I'm not going to get him this way, I'm going to get him the other way. Then maybe I'll get if I can't get Biden, I'm going to get his son. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to get him in trouble. Somehow, in some way, shape, or form, I will come out victorious and I will get what I want. And if it means throwing his son, throwing Hunter Biden, in prison for some sort of tax evasion or something of that sort, any illegal dealings, anything that looks shady, if by any means necessary, if he can do that, I think he'll be a very happy man if he can do that. He'll be like, all right, I may have lost the presidency, but your son's in prison, though. You know what I'm saying? Deuces. He's just like that, too. He's like, yeah, walking out the door, walking out the White House, just chucking up the deuces. You know what I'm saying? At least that. You feel me? What do you think, T? What do you think?
Yeah, it's I was saying it's a chess match. Jojo Bob was like, it's a witch hunt.
Yeah.
But it seems like, it's back and forth, man. It's back every few months. There's another scandal going on, on both sides. We had Hillary and her emails. You had Trump and his impeachment and his scandal with Putin. You have election fraud. Now you have Biden with his taxes. Don't forget Trump and his taxes too is going on forever.
Word.
So it's back and forth. So I guess whoever has the best lawyer is going to win. Whoever can find some tangible evidence that's going to stick, then I guess crown them the winner. Because
Word.
What's next? What's next?
That is the question. What is next, man? What is next? What is next? The only thing I feel that is next is I don't want to say anything bad, like on the air or anything like that, because I don't wish any bad thing to happen to any president. Real talk, even the current one that's in the White House right now, because he still is somebody who is serving our country. But what next? Maybe something really catastrophic happens during the inauguration. That's the only thing I can think of. I said it without saying it. You heard me. I didn't stutter. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Oops. That security guard just accidentally leaves that gate open, just a tiny bit open. He forgets to latch the gate. Then all of a sudden, you see what I'm saying? That could happen. Just saying. Hate to be that guy. T has nothing to say. Damn, that's a first. He's like, I ain't saying nothing. All I'm saying is that could be I'm just saying worst case scenario, bruh. Worst case scenario, bruh. That could actually happen. And you can't forget, before the impeachment, it was the sex scandal, too. You can't forget that, too. Stormy Daniels, you know what I mean? She made it rain. Not really. Apparently, it wasn't a really good time. So she wasn't making it rain. You know what I'm saying? So, Anyway, the Kelly, what's the girl's name? Shoot, now I feel bad. She made that song. Kelly Rowland? Yeah, Kelly Rowland. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna make it rain. You know what I mean? But no, not with. Apparently, it wasn't that good. Unfortunately, lackluster story. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I think so. Just to wrap up that, I think that when it comes to Hunter Biden, I think it's a very interesting time for them to bring up this problem, to bring up investigations on him. And I feel like this will be an investigation that goes on throughout the entire time that Biden is in office. So it'll just be an extra thing looming over Biden's head throughout the entire time during his whole term, or at least during a good portion of his term. So everybody will look at crackhead Hunter Biden the entire time. Real talk. They'll be looking at crackhead Hunter Biden that's getting investigated.
Crack is cheap,
Crack is cheap and crack is whack.
Crack is whack.
Let me tell you something. Crack is whack. Crack is cheap. Apparently Hunter Biden does not give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Apparently doing that, we're getting a little FJ live on camera. It's apparently amazing. I don't know.
It seems like a reality now. It's like a reality TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is straight drama.
Oh yeah.
You know, like put out there, even if it's false, put out there. If it bleeds, it leads. You know, and opposition is trying to figure out what can we put out there to the masses and see what happens. You know, it's crazy. I mean, if Trump went through all these scandals almost every year in office, they're definitely going to try to make something stick to Biden if they can.
Oh, they're going to find. They're going to try to find anything.
Something.
They're going to find something.
That's the whole new game of politics now.
Whole new game.
Scandals. Well, it's always been scandals, but like scandals that are like this, you know, serious. Like, you know, like Watergate was huge years ago. Oh yeah. So like now it's like, let's find the next Watergate.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, that's the thing. Like they're always trying to find that new thing, that new like, oh, we just set the truth out. You know what I mean? The truth shall set you free. See how corrupt politics is? We already knew that, though. We've always known that. Nothing's changed. It ain't going to change anytime soon. Politics is a dirty, dirty, dirty game. Very much so. Like, as much as I know there's a lot of people that are not down for watching movies or TV shows that have Kevin Spacey in them because of the Me Too movement and everything, I just ask everybody to go to Netflix and watch House of Cards. Just do yourself the first 4 seasons, not the last season. The last season's trash, but watch the first few seasons. Amazing. And it shows you how corrupt and messed up and jacked up politics are. They're showing you the truth. I understand that it's a nighttime drama. You know, it's a nighttime soap. But that's really what's going on in the White House right now, too. It's mind-blowing. So, anyway, just a very interesting story with him being under investigation. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Excuse me. Now, we got to jump into this next thing. This is another very interesting... this is a very interesting one. I know that T was like, I'm out of this one. I'm dodging this one. So I'm gonna talk about this one my damn self. No, I'm kidding. You're gonna be a part of this too, T, whether you want to be a part of it or not. Okay, we understand that you're solidified in your masculinity. Okay, we've seen your children. You know what I'm saying? Your swimmers are strong swimmers. We got you, but we got to go into this conversation. This is a very true story, man. This is a very true story. This has to do with this is a story that's going on in Hungary right now. An anti-gay Hungarian politician resigns after Brussels police bust him in the middle of a 25-man orgy violating coronavirus rules. Yeah, of all things. Hold on. I just want to point out something. The title itself is hilarious because it's not because he's anti-gay. He's an anti-gay politician. He got caught because he was violating coronavirus policies. I mean, what? Okay. So here it is. An anti-LGBTQ politician from Hungary resigned from the European Parliament on Sunday after he was caught fleeing from what was described as a 25-man orgy in Brussels, busted by the police for breaching Belgium's coronavirus pandemic lockdown. I wonder how they got caught. Like, that's the one thing I want to know. Joseph Zajer, a 59-year-old MEP who represented Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban's ruling Fidesz party, apologized in a statement Tuesday for breaching restrictions meant to combat the spread of COVID-19, but did not comment on the nature of the quote-unquote private party and asked people to treat the matter as a quote-unquote strictly personal to him. Okay, so The public prosecutor's office in Belgium confirmed that a man identified as SJ, I guess they cut it short because his name is kind of tough to say, was in attendance and allegedly tried to escape by climbing through a first-story window of an apartment below before he was apprehended. A spokeswoman for Brussels Region's deputy public prosecutor said a passerby had spotted a man fleeing along the gutter before police reached him. She said the man's hands were bloodied and he was likely injured while trying to escape. Police found narcotics in the man's backpack. SJ has denied using drugs at the party and said the police found a single ecstasy pill that wasn't his and that he offered to take a on the spot drug test, which the police has declined. So he went on to make in this written apology. He said, "I deeply regret violating the COVID restrictions." I'm sorry. I deeply regret. Oh God. Okay. I'm sorry. Keep it together, Pascal. Keep it together. Okay. I'm going to respond to that really quick in a second here. So I deeply regret violating the COVID restrictions. It was irresponsible on my part. I'm ready to pay the fine that occurs. With my resignation on Sunday, I drew the political and personal consequences. Okay, this is a very interesting translation of what he was saying. So sorry, guys. I apologize to my family and to my colleagues and to my voters. I asked them to evaluate my misstep against a background of 30 years of devoted and hard work. The misstep is strictly personal. I am the one who owns responsibility for it. There you go. So I just want to go back. Can we just, to hit that rewind button, just go back real quick. So the very beginning of his apology that he wrote, obviously this has been translated, but he says, I deeply regret violating the COVID restrictions. Not, I deeply regret lying to the general public that voted me in, thinking and believing that I am an anti-gay politician. I deeply regret being caught in a 25-man orgy. Dude was balls deep with other men in an orgy. But the first thing he says is, I deeply regret violating COVID restrictions. What a warped mind this man is in. What a warped world. There's an anti-LGBTQ politician that was literally caught with his pants down. Yeah. And the first thing he says is, I deeply regret violating COVID restrictions. Wow. That sounds like a true politician. It's like, I didn't inhale. I was naked, but I wasn't a part of it. We were all quarantining together because we all had the COVID together. So there's a new thing in Brussels. We get butt naked and we sweat out the COVID. I'm done. T, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on this story?
It sounds bizarre, for someone to publicly brand themselves as anti-gay, and then behind closed doors, not only have a relationship that was homosexual, but to have a orgy with over 24 people. That's the extreme part of it, It's not like, oh, okay, he's actually married to a guy or something. Okay, but that's one thing. But for him to have this mass party It's
Orgy.
definitely
Or orgy. It's called orgy. Sorry, it's not a party. It's called orgy. If you're butt naked and
Orgy.
there's testicles and penises, peni flying around, that's called an orgy. Just so you, that ain't a party no more. That's a full on orgy. But continue. I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, back in the 70s, they call that a party, I think. Now it's coined different terms, for sure.
For sure.
But that's the extremes of it, It's mind-boggling, they always say it's usually the people who are fighting against something so much, usually for the opposite, or their private lives are opposite than their professional lives, So in his case, it's definitely the truth.
It's complete antithesis. You know what I'm saying?
And they were worried more about, being together than actually having COVID. COVID is killing people out here.
Right.
Guess we all forgot about HIV. That was a huge thing. I guess that's not, that's nothing now. Is there a vaccine for that yet?
They don't give two damns now. They're like, shoot. Hey, if we're gonna get the COVID, if we're gonna get HIV, we're gonna get the COVID too. So F it. Let's just go. You know what I mean? Woo! Like seriously, wow.
That's wild.
I'm telling you. And the funny thing is like I'm going back to that apology. Even so, he could have said, instead of saying I deeply regret violating the COVID restrictions, he could have said, I can finally breathe now. I can finally come out as a gay man. Like he could literally he could finally say, I'm free. I don't have to hide anymore. There could have been other things he could have said. All he said is, I deeply regret violating the COVID restrictions. Bruh, come on, man. You don't give you don't care that you were in a room full of butt-ass naked men. You got caught and you were a dude probably trying to pass policies against the people that are in the same damn room with you at the same damn time? Come on. There's so many other opportunities you could have done things, man. You could have said something. Could have said, okay, I'm not going to resign. This is going to be my opportunity to do right for the people that I'm hiding, like the people that I am a part of, instead of hiding in the closet. I'm sorry. It's unbelievable that it's like he didn't learn anything from it. He's probably one of those dudes that thinks like, yo, hey, if I'm the top, if I'm pitching, it ain't gay. Seriously. He could be thinking that too. That's insane. That's freaking insane. But that is truly a politician. Holy cow. He's 59 years old, by the way. 59 years old, and he's probably been hiding he's probably been hiding all this time. Deny. He's probably been doing these kind of parties for a while. And yet he comes out with that. It's just a whack ass apology. I'm sorry. Well, you don't need to be you don't need to be a politician anymore. The world needs more bartenders. Godspeed. You know what I mean? Goldspeed. I don't know their accent, but we're just gonna go with that one. Okay? They're all Russian in my head. Goldspeed, comrade. Anyway, moving on from that. Well, is there anything else? Is there anything more? Are you a gamer? T? Are you a gamer?
Most of my life I've been. I've been busy lately, so I haven't gamed as much. But yeah.
Why did you make it sound like? I'm sorry. Are you a gamer? Most of my life I have been, but like it's 4 years ago. Like, oh my god. Okay, because apparently people are making some big deal about this Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sorry. I don't even know what the hell that is. Real talk. I don't. That's a little bit of a left turn, but there you go. He's Googling it right now.
I'll check it out.
But there's a game called Among Us, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, this is the game with Keanu Reeves as one of the characters in the game.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it's all about. I don't know why people are tripping over it and all that, but people are tripping over it. I guess it just came out today or something?
Any kind of first-person shooter game, you know, and it's also like in the future, you know, so like, yeah, it's definitely going to bring the latest advances of technology. And then the PS5 is coming out too. So this is like, they always match up a new console with the newest game. So
Word. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to bring in a lot of revenue for sure.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not a gamer. I don't have any consoles. I don't have anything. I don't get why dudes, and no offense to anybody, I'm not trying to throw any shade on anybody that loves video games or plays video games or is waiting anxiously for their PS5, but I really don't understand why people are tripping over this PS5, like literally losing sleep over this ish. I still don't get it. I don't get it. I understand that people want it, but I just don't get the hype. I don't get it. I don't get it. I was just not one of those kids that was playing video games till my eyes bled. You know what I'm saying? I was playing outside and climbing trees and stuff. Like, video games bore me pretty quick. So not knocking anybody who's going to get the PS5 or the Xbox or anything of that sort, but I just don't get the hype. But I was thinking of, because I think you can get Among Us on your computer. And I was thinking of playing it, not knowing how to play it at all, but play it live with a couple people at some point. Not like now, but I'm saying at some point. What? Saying what?
I say good luck with that one.
I know that. I mean, it would be a cluster F. That would be an absolute disaster.
Who can game better than me. So you have no chance.
Yeah, I mean, it would be bad. It would be really, really bad. You know what I mean? But it was something I was thinking about trying out sometime. You know what I'm saying?
Try it out by yourself, but if you go online, it's a different animal altogether. You have I guess you can say 8-year-olds up to 40-year-olds who have their own Twitch account, and they play games, and they have live hostings of their games, and people pay them just to watch them play.
I don't get it. Like, good on everybody. Like, real talk, good on you if you got that's your hustle, and you got people that want to watch you play video games, bruh. Good on you. You know what I'm saying? Good on you. Keep making that money, boo-boo. But for me, I just don't get it. I don't get why people like watching people play video games. I don't get it. To me, I'm like I'm out. I'm sleep. Him dead. I just don't get it. I'll play video games for a little bit, like with my cousin, you know what I mean? Or like with my nephew, that kind of thing, just for fun. But real quick, I'm like, all right, is there something else we can play? Or is there something else we can do? You know, let's go shoot some hoops or something. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me, you know? Okay, so there is something else I wanted to talk about, but I want to try to make this quick as much as I can. And you know, I already told you about this, T, so I'm just gonna go into it. Well, first off, real quick before I jump into that, Jalen's nephew is going to be on Fox News tonight. Wow, I can't even talk anymore. He saved a man's life in Castlewood. That's what's up, Jalen. That's dope. Tell him congratulations. I'll try to keep an eye out on it because Jalen lives in my city. That's really, really dope. So anyway, there was something I wanted to talk about this evening or this morning, and I couldn't get a chance to talk about it because we were diving deep into vaccine stuff, and then there was all this other breaking news stuff, and this is kind of old, but I wanted to talk about it because it is something that was kind of bothering me, or that was kind of eating away at me, and I really wanted to chop it up and talk about it with you guys and see your thoughts on it. I don't have a whole lot of time, so I kind of have to condense up what I wanted to say, but you'll get the general idea once we get started. But Olivia Jade is one of the many girls that was caught cheating or paying her way to get into college. She was one of the many girls, one of the many people that was involved with the enrollment scandal that was going on like earlier this year. Now, her mom and dad, Massimo, I can't pronounce that last name, and of course, Lori Loughlin, are both in prison right now as we speak. They were found guilty and they're in prison right now. Lori Loughlin is looking at 60 days in prison, where her husband is going to be there for like 5 months. And they did everything from doxing or, faking photographs of their daughters rowing, just faking things that were not true. And of course, basically faking up everything they could to get their kids into USC. Now, Olivia Jade has been getting a lot of flack because of this whole scandal. And she recently went to a very popular show on Facebook called Red Table Talk. And it's hosted by Jada Pinkett's mom, Adrian, and her mom, her daughter, Willow. And so it's a multi-generational show. They all sit around a red table and they have celebrities on and they just talk about things that are just big topics and everything. So just a couple days ago, just yesterday, if I'm correct, Olivia Jade went on to the show. Before she went out on the show, of course, Jada is addressing to the camera, telling everybody about who they're about to have on the show, who their guest is. And of course, Adrian had something to say about said Olivia Jade coming onto the show. And here's a little clip of that.
I'm exhausted with everything that we have to deal with as a community, and I just don't have the energy to put into the fact that you lost your endorsements.
Right.
You know, or you're not in school right now.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to be okay, because your parents are going to go in and they're going to do their 60 days and they're going to pay their fine, and you guys will go on and you'll be okay and you will live your life.
Right. Yeah.
And there's so many of us that it is not going to be that situation.
So one of the things, and this was kind of like the wrong clip, and I apologize for that. There was another clip that she said in the very beginning, like, I don't understand why we are giving this white girl, this white privileged girl, a platform to stand on so that she can do her redemption tour. And of course, Jada said, she responded in a way of like, I don't want to be that person that I complain about. I don't want to be that person that holds a person down or judges a person just because of what race they are, or where they stand politically or whatever. The interview was very interesting. You guys should check it out sometime. It's very, very interesting. But there was something else kind of spawned from this. Jada, Willow, Adrian, Red Table Talk are all getting quite a bit of backlash for bringing this girl onto the platform in the first place. And it all came from what Adrian said in this particular video of saying, like, why are we giving this white girl, why are we are all three black women, we're going to give her a platform and give her the okay. Like, we'll give her this, like, she's asking us to allow us to hear her plea and give her the stamp of approval, like the black stamp of approval. Now it's very interesting, how this whole thing unfolds, how they say, how she addresses the questions, how she answers them and all that. And of course, she's fairly polished. What else is new? She is I'm sure they sent her all these videos or all these questions before they started shooting the video in the first place. So she came in properly prepared. But there's also that part where it's like the white privilege side of it all. And I have to say this. It's more than just white privilege. There's a different privilege going on in this particular show. It's called celebrity. It's celebrity privilege. Because if you really think about it, this is not Olivia Jade just being some random girl that was involved in some scandal getting enrolled into a school. Her mother was on a very big sitcom back in the day. She is still a working actress. Her father is very wealthy as well, and is known in the spotlight and in the spotlight as well. You know, you have somebody who is already on another pedestal, on another level beyond just being white. Then you also have Jada Pinkett, Willow Smith, and her mother, Adrienne, that all are part of the same Hollywood machine. They're celebrities as well. They're the one percenters as well. They don't know the struggle that regular 99 percenters have, but they have this platform that people consume. So, of course, celebrity privilege comes from, oh, let me call up Willow really quick. You know, Olivia calling up Willow really quick and saying, hey, I know that you have this show. Do you think I can come on and talk about this thing? Hey, Mom. You know, Willow talking to Jada. Hey, Mom, I think this would be a really good conversation. And we could talk about white privilege. But it's not white privilege exactly. It's a whole other thing. Where she talks about things like in her video, in the interview, she talks about how she was on this, she was posting a video on YouTube, and this is a video that they used all over every single time they did an investigation or talked about the topic of this enrollment scandal. They would use this Olivia Jade YouTube video where she just talks about, like, I can't wait to go to USC and just get wasted and party. So she talks about that, and she's like, I didn't realize that that was a bad thing to say. I didn't realize my privilege until that video was out there and I got hit with all this backlash. But she still had to get in front of the camera, say all those things, cut that video up, and then post it onto YouTube. That's how warped her mind is. But at the same time, that's the same amount of delusion that those people on the red table have too. I mean, you know, like, T, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because I mean, I'm trying to say this and I'm working this out live.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there are layers to privilege, and you were talking about that. Beyond her being white, she's also the daughter of a celebrity, and they live in a different lifestyle than most people.
It's a totally different world. Celebrities
have privilege that the regular day Joe Schmo doesn't have. So her privilege card can be used to get into a club, used to get free things, used to get preference over certain jobs. So in this case, she wanted to use that privilege card in a way that's probably hasn't been used ever before to get into a university or college. You know, that's not something that's happening as far as, you know, I'm concerned. So she figured, why not? My parents are celebrities, and we have money. You know, so I want to go to college one day, but you know, I really didn't invest my high school years into studying that hard. Why? I have a job lined up for me, you know, tomorrow. Right. So I guess she figured she would go on to college and she would use her privilege in this manner. and we see, it backfired. Where almost 100 people, were arrested in this scam. And you were talking about like a jaded point of view. I mean, yeah, she was definitely in a bubble.
Yeah.
Because you think about the average person going to college, they can't afford it. College is a 6-figure investment. And if you think about it, it's the biggest loan of your life outside of a house. So the government's giving away 6-figure loans to 17, 18-year-old kids going to college, by the boatload.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is the inequity, in this whole, situation. Someone privileged, can't really get in on their own merit. So let me use my privilege card. And somebody who's not privileged has to hustle to do everything possible, grades, have a night job, community service, write an essay, get some grants and scholarships to go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And barely make it in. You know what I'm saying?
Barely.
And it's a shame because Olivia took advantage of a system that there was someone's spot there at that school that just didn't get in because of her. And that someone's life was changed because of her.
Yeah.
And that was selfish on her behalf.
Hella selfish.
Very selfish.
I also got to say this too, like, because you said something a second ago, like, about her, the privilege of her being able to do that, the privilege of her getting accepted. But she's also taking advantage of her privilege for being on this show to have a platform to apologize. So to get her word out there.
So on that part, I was reading that she doesn't want anyone's pity. But she goes after that and says, I am embarrassed. And I'm 21 years old and I deserve a second chance.
Yeah.
Right? And that she chose that show because she's a fan of that show. And she figured that they would have more compassion for her, or less hard words to say towards her than anybody else.
Right.
Jada Pinkett and her mom and daughter first were going to say no to Olivia coming on to the show. That was their first thought. They later said yes, saying that this was their chance to practice compassion. So they knew they were going to face some backlash. They knew it because they knew that the situation was unique, and they showed one of the black eyes of being in America, mm-hmm. where people are privileged in different ways, and it's so obvious that we don't talk about it though. We don't talk about it. It's just one of the things that you know is happening, but we can't talk about it because this is a land of the free and opportunity.
But, I think the thing is she did say one of the main things she did say. You're right. She said, "Hey, I was hoping to come onto this show because obviously she's going to say because I love this show." But of course, because I'm expecting, I'm expecting to get some compassion, or hopefully you guys will be a little bit more compassionate and understanding and you'll hear me out. But also at the same time, it is her being like, all right, I am the epitome of white privilege, and I'm coming onto this show to a room full of black women. And this is a show that a lot of black people watch. So this is an opportunity for me to get my plea and get a stamp of approval from the black community. So, let me say my piece and hear from these 3 black women. When there are women out here there are stories of women out here that have changed their address just so that they can get their son or daughter to a better school, to a better district, and then they get slapped on the wrist and thrown in freaking jail for those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a platform to say any of that stuff. They don't have Jada, Adrian, and Willow going, around a red table. No, they're just gotta live their life and deal with it, and put those kids in the bad school district that they're in, and just keep them moving and go do their time for breaking the law. But this girl does something unthinkable, is okay with it throughout the entire time, thinking that it's not even batting an eye to it. Talks about it on her YouTube channel, going, I can't wait to express my white privilege, get wasted and talk to boys. And then all of a sudden she gets in trouble and now she's like, oh my God, lo siento, por favor. It's like, come on, man, just shut up. Shut up. And for me, when I see a video like that, I'm sorry, one thing. When I see a video like that, when somebody comes on and they're like, oh, because, you know, basically the Red Table Talk is like the Oprah show now. You know what I mean? It's the Oprah show. So they're going, okay, you know, I was waiting during the interview when she was going to turn on the waterworks. I kid you not. I was waiting for her to go. I was waiting for and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. But I'm sitting here going, man, you are utilizing your privilege even right now. Like a mother. You know what I'm saying? But what are you going to say, T? I'm sorry. I don't mean to get worked up, but I just hate this kind of stuff.
You're on the same page with that comment. In addition to that, to the tears, I'm sure her PR people advised her, in order to have a comeback, you have to apologize. And not only that, you have to go onto a prominent platform. Like we just said, you know, this Red Table Talk is like Oprah, you know what I'm saying, and get them to feel sorry for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And she chose this this is a plan because this is another demographic, you know? So if they feel bad for me, then I'm good on my side too. We're all good.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So it's probably in her mind a smart PR move.
Absolutely. But what's so frustrating to me? Sorry, I don't mean to counteract. I'm sorry. This boils my blood because I watched it and I felt like her apology was not genuine. I felt like what she was saying was not genuine. I felt like she was using this opportunity to get her face back out there in a positive light, showing that she is going to be on this redemption song, back on that thing, trying to do as much as she can as far as to redeem herself so that she can keep securing her bags and so that she can keep getting her money through her IG and whatever else she has going on for herself. And that's what's so frustrating about it. She has celebrity. It's not only just white privilege, it's the celebrity privilege. All she needs to do is sit back for 2 seconds. Real talk, she could sit back for a couple months and reemerge with brand new deals and brand new whatever. This ain't gonna stop her money bag. It won't. But I feel like she was up there trying to manipulate her narrative to work out in her favor. And then that's why I'm saying, hey, bring these, let me get on this popular black show that white people and black people watch. It's a very, their demographic spans all races, but they are 3 black women that are going to, you would think, rip her a new butthole. And they don't do that. Adrienne does a little bit, but then she cowers back. You know, she's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to make it seem like it's all that, but it is though. It is. Do you know how many kids out here that work their butts off to go to a school that is better than the school that's in their district? How many kids that will walk or ride several buses just to go to a better school so that they can go to a better college? The sacrifice, the dedication, all the things that happen. And all this kid had to do was get in front of a rowing machine and act like she rows. Throw a couple grand at a school and suddenly she's enrolled in USC. Yet there's other guys and other kids out here that work their tail off. And all she's doing is going on to one of the biggest talk shows out there and saying, I'm sorry, guys. I don't go to the school anymore. Give it 2 months. She's going to be like, check out my new brand deal. She doesn't need college. She's one of those people that does not need college. Somebody will call her up for a reality show. And she'll secure them bags. If she was a regular, even white person, her cards would be played completely different right now. She would not be on Jada Pinkett's show. That's what I mean by celebrity privilege. It transcends color, baby. It most definitely does. And it's frustrating. Sorry. There's a lot of people out here that probably would have really appreciated being accepted into that school that probably couldn't afford it. But of course, you know, that's just how the cookie crumbles, right? It's a damn shame, y'all. It's a damn shame. But anyway, I had to get that off my chest because that's been eating away at me for the past day. Real talk. I wanted to talk about it this morning. Couldn't. T, thank you so much for letting me bounce that off of you. You know, because I know you're coming in this naked. You know what I mean? Just like that dude SJ in the 25 dude orgy. I'm just kidding. You're like, I'm going to dodge that. I'm dodging that, bruh. Come on now. But anyway, we got to get going, guys. It's about that is it. That's what wraps up. This is all she wrote today. I appreciate all y'all coming on and being a part of the conversation this evening. T, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much for being on today.
No problem. Anytime.
Appreciate it. And I know that you're not going to be able to be on tomorrow evening, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but you'll be on tomorrow morning?
Sure. Yep.
Sure. You want to go on a date or something? I don't know. Sure. That's so encouraging. You go, you know what I'm saying? Imagine you going up to your wife right now and asking her out on a date for the very first date, and she just said, "Sure."
My bad. It came off wrong. Yes, I'm committed.
I'm just playing.
Tomorrow, my brother.
I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. Wait. Okay. Real quick before I go, Robert Shoemaker just said, "Hey Pascal, can I ask you a question without getting screamed at?" Sure, it depends on what the question is, my brother. But go ahead, ask away, Robert, before we go. Hopefully he'll answer quickly. Hopefully he's a fast typer. Robert Shoemaker. Maybe we lost him. I don't know. Maybe we lost him. Nobleness D said, "Why are you such a Trump fan?" I am not. Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, I'm not real. I'm not real on the whole white privilege thing. Okay.
So how about this? Ask him. Well, Robert, has it ever existed before in the past? And if it has, when did it stop?
That's a very good question too. Did it ever exist, or is this some thing that's that you think is like a fairy tale or a fantasy? You have a great night too, Nikki. Thank you so much. I don't know. Maybe I know. I have never seen it. And you know, Robert, hey, it's okay. If you've never seen white privilege, it's okay. Doesn't mean anything bad about who you are. Just like that girl that we were just talking about, I don't think she saw white privilege until until like the veil over her eyes was kind of lifted. Or somebody may have just had to tell her. You know what I'm saying? Some people just don't notice. Some people just don't see it. And it's not like it's a thing where it's like you get, it ain't like what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like a whites only water fountain and a blacks only water fountain. It's not like that. It's not like you get to take, you know, if Robert is white, you know, it's not like you take a better looking escalator up to the second floor than we do or something like that. It's not like that anymore. It's not like that at all. But there are still things. There are still things that loom over America, over this country, over society, that is definitely caters towards white people. That's it. You know, unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is. And I know that there are people out here that truly believe that white privilege does not exist, but it most definitely does. But I feel like there are people that, there are black people that think that white privilege does not exist. But I also don't think that they see what I see. You know what I'm saying? Or what T sees. Because obviously I can't speak on behalf of T, but I've seen a lot of white privilege. I've stood front row and seen some stuff where I'm like, wow, that really just happened. And a lot of what you see is done in plain sight. You just don't see it. It's in code. A lot of it is in code. Let me break one down for you, Robert, really quick. And this is okay. I'm not, I appreciate you asking this question, my brother. I'll point one thing out, and this is so small, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, my brother. But you ever go to a club, and the club will sit there and say, no chains, no backwards hats, no sneakers. There's a reason why they're doing that. If you ever notice, like whenever you go to a club and, say that you don't, say that you really enjoy, I'm just using a club, for example, because sometimes a club can be like America. You know what I'm saying? In very many ways. Sometimes when you go to a club you go into that club and say it's a specific type of music that's playing in there. Sometimes they're doing that specifically because they're trying to weed a certain person out of the club. Because sometimes they say it gets quote unquote a little too dark. So if you could stop playing the Jeezy, stop playing the hip hop, start playing pop tunes real quick, yeah, maybe the black people will start to filter out. Same thing with the whole thing about bouncers and the front door guys sitting there saying you can't have a chain, no backwards caps, no baggy jeans, and no sneakers, solely because they're trying to weed out black people. And I hate to say that, but it's very true. Most of the time, they'll sit there and go, no crew neck shirts. That's even that too. Sometimes you got to show up in a collared shirt if you want to go into this particular club. Real talk. So, I know a lot of DJs and I got a lot of friends that DJ. And they'll tell me every time, as soon as it gets too dark, they say it every time. It's true. As soon as the club gets a little too dark, they'll come in and they'll ask them to lighten up the mood. Quote unquote. And that's just in a club. I'm just talking about a club. You see what I'm saying? But this happens everywhere. White privilege is very, very much there. Very, very real. It's in the little things. Real talk. In the conversation we just had about that Olivia chick, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's those things, and that is real. That happens in my city all the time. What I just told you about dress codes and stuff. It's ridiculous, but they do that for a reason, because they only want a certain type of person in that club. As soon as they see the place get a little bit too black, they start to change things, or they shut down the entire club. They'll shut it down for months, rename it, slap on a new color of paint on the walls, same owners, just a different name to the club. I mean, that's a small example. That's a very, very small example, y'all. I mean, shoot, we could just talk about what the video I showed this morning of a gentleman getting pulled over, white man getting pulled over, and the officer sitting there going, please, please just comply, come out of the car. The guy has a gun on his lap. He slams the door shut, says, I'm putting my hands on my wheel, and I'm driving away. And he does exactly that. If that was a black man in that car, he would have been lit up. They would have emptied their clip into that man's body. That's what I mean. And sometimes those stories are not the same. Sometimes they don't end the same way. But they are real. White privilege most definitely exists. It's sad. And I wish that there were more people that would open up and just take a step back from their bubble and look from the outside of their bubble and just see it for themselves. That's all. Over 50 and Fantabulous just commented, "Good evening, sweetheart. My mama was in a store. A security guard started following her around. So she picked up a nail polish and he followed her around the store. So on purpose, walked towards the door, put it down. Looked back at him, smiled as she walked out the door." Do you know how many times, like, it's funny because that's the kind of same stories that I get all the time too, where I'll go into a store and I'm wearing like a hoodie and a skull cap or something like that. I'm just staying warm because it's winter, and there'll be people staring me down. There'll be people staring me down, literally staring me down, thinking that I'm trying to rob the place or that I'm not putting, like, that I'm going to go steal something. And a lot of them will sit there and go, "Come on, like, hurry up. If you're here to buy something, pay for it and go." That's real. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it's true. But, what T just said is true. White privilege does not equal, that thing disappeared, does not equal a life without problems. I mean, yes. You're very right, T. You know what I'm saying? There also is class. You know what I'm saying? There's also a class system. So, I mean, if you are upper middle class or upper class, I mean, shoot, there's still privilege within class as well. You know what I'm saying? But if you are black upper middle class or black upper class, you still deal with a lot of BS though too. It's just a different level. I think it's a different translation of experiencing and seeing white privilege. It's just a whole other conversation. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, we gotta roll. I'm sorry, guys. We can keep going. But you big and scary. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what? Facts. You don't want to meet me in the alley, man. You don't want to meet me in the alley, bruh. I'm totally kidding. I'm a teddy bear. What are you talking about? I talk about how I love peanut butter and honey. What are you talking about? I'm a freaking teddy bear. Anyway, T, again, thank you so much for being on today, okay?
No problem, bro.
It's time to get going. I love all you guys. Stay blessed out there. Sometimes, like I said, please, most definitely, if you ever get a chance, step out of your own bubble and just open up your eyes. You know what I mean? You never know. You never know what new colors you might see, all right? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Love, peace, and wellness for the holidays. Don't cancel them. Prepare, STL. Decorate. Make it as normal as you can, but slow the spread of COVID. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Prepare, STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. So you can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
the Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.